Değerli arkadaşlar, öncelikle hoş geldiniz. Sayın Başkan, çok teşekkür ediyorum. Yani çok güzel bir...
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a very effective event. Thank you for making us happy and bringing us all together. So as far as I can see, we have a young audience here. Some may be offended, but I don't know. Some may be happy to hear that. This is what we see. As we see, is a project by TÜBİTAK. This is smart leaf spring. The project is called damage detection using carbon nanotubes and composite leaf spring. Of course, this is not only specific to leaf springs, but you can apply it to anything. And our assistant will be talking about it, my PhD student. This is the project team. Of course, when this is composite and when it's smart, we need to have people from the field of chemistry, electronics, and this is our friends here, and also mechanics. Let's talk about our university, our laboratory. In our laboratory, about composites, mechanically speaking, we can conduct all the tests. And as you can see, we have a winding machine, a video accelerometer, but in composite you should not use that. You should use stranger. This is a 36-month project. As you know, the tests the fatigue tests also take 36 months. And in our workshop we do have hand lay.
Ön planda tutuyoruz. Evet, teoriyi veriyoruz ama öğrencilerimize
So we do provide theoretical information to our friends, but also practical information. When I arrived at Istanbul University, they almost had nothing about composite, but such composite projects were supported by certain funds, for example, by TÜBİTAK and other institutions. Well, the industrialists say that your graduates don't know even how to apply a screwdriver, and they don't know fiber, they don't know gel coats, they say. So I should thank Tumetics and Polya because they support us for the materials, and we would like to thank them. They also help us to help us deliver training, practical training to our students, because on one side you have the theory, on the other side you have the practice, and if you don't combine these two, you will have nothing almost at the end of the day. And some students say and ask to us where they would use it, but we use such things in so many environments that you would be amazed. The smart cars. You will probably remember that in 1980s, when I was a child, I was a fan of Dark Thunder. It used to talk. It talked to you. It said that it has a failure, the failure, and so on. So it was so amazing. So it seems like amazing. So it seems like we are headed towards the black dark thunder, like cars. And we started with leaves, the smart spring leaves, and now we are headed towards the other uh, things like night riders and so on. And you need to establish, you need to manufacture lightweight cars, and this is demanded by the industry. And this is another smart car, and I don't know by which company this is, but I think smart cars are really comfortable for ladies. And my wife has difficulties in parking, and she demands me to buy this for her. I don't know if I can afford it or not. So, you know, our team, the target of our team is as such. When the aircraft takes off and when flying, we should make sure that the aircraft by itself identifies the failure and repairs it. So this is sensing self-healing, if you will, and it may sound a little assertive, but my target throughout my life was as such. In the military, there was this plate that used to read, the difficult may turn out to be handled immediately, while the impossible will take some time. So we should not say that there are impossible things. Probably it would somehow be solved after a while. So we talked about self-healing, sensing self-healing. Is it possible? Well, partially it is possible. There are studies ongoing, and our friends will demonstrate it to you. And we will get the telephone number of a volunteer friend, and we will have a message sent to that phone. And what are we supposed to do for that? We need to have the identification of the failure when the plane is in the air. We now are able to do that. Our assistant friend will be talking about it, not me. And we should locate the failure. Locating the failure is something paid attention to. Certain wires and grills are used to locate the failure, but we will explain it further to you, and the roadmap we will adapt. And some friends say and ask, they say, why are you sharing those pieces of information? But these are important things. And let's continue. Self-healing or self-repairing. You may identify the failure and you locate it, and then you expect it to self-repair. Or then when the plane is flying, the aircraft is in the air, still it should do these all. This is a small sample. There are grids here, 1, 1, 1, 2. So if there is any disconnection here in that plate, by the way, you use carbon nanotubes. It's conductive, as you know, and when it's conductive, then what? It will conduce the electricity, and the leaf spring works in that fashion. When the electricity is conductive, conduced, then the resistance goes up, and the fatigue tests should know, and then an automatic message will be sent to the driver stating that he or she is in danger. So we will make sure of that. It may be one to one, one by one plate, or if it's 1 by 2 or 2 by 2 meters plate, then how will it be possible? And you may have 3, 4, 5 of those plates as well. So we are working on those, and let's say that 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 2, and let's say that you know such resistance values, and there is a defect, let's assume. And when there is that failure, that defect, then there is a dramatic increase in the resistance. I started with 1, but you can also go from 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. So when you do those, the resistance will jump up here. With a mathematical model, you once converted into a 3D version, you will have a peak point at where the resistance is. Then you can locate that defect. So we are working still to decrease the figures a little bit. Let me continue. So self-healing, self-repairing, this is something that we are proud about. As you know, Aziz Sancar was awarded with Nobel Prize, and we are proud. And that healing, self-healing, is maybe already existing in our tissues. I'm not a biologist, but let me explain it to you as much as I can. Here, there are the cancer cells, let's say, and when you administrate enzymes into it, it cuts it and keeps it off, and then the tissue renews itself, and you get rid of the cancer cell, and this is why the Nobel Prize was awarded, was handed to Mr. Sanjar. And there are some other methodologies for self-healing or self-repairing. And many friends here are interested in composites, and you would probably know we have epoxies and we have stiffeners. And on the right hand side, it looks like a hazelnut, a shell of a hazelnut, and the structure of that hazelnut is crispy, and there is epoxy in it. What about in the small one? There is the stiffness, the toughener. So once the material starts cracking, as the shell is very crispy, it brittle, it do break or crack, and once the system itself identifies that and heals itself, then this is called self-healing. I will explain it to you further, but as we have many young people here, I would like to also mention a couple of other things. I don't know if you were here or not, but there was a panel last evening. The composite industry is on the rise in Turkey, but what kinds of composites are we manufacturing? There are some products that should be innovative. So I have 10 siblings, by the way. I'm from Ankara, and when I was attending to secondary school, every year the number of my siblings would increase. So not the siblings that you would guess. I go to the secondary school, and my teacher asks me some certain questions to get to know me. For example, my friend, one says that I have two siblings, and the other says I have three. And my formula was n plus 4. If the one next to me used to say 2, I would say it's 4 because I had too many siblings. And my father used to think if he had many children, he could send some to the laundry jobs and some to the plowing on the field and so on. But now that mentality has changed, and it has to change. It's now about the brain. So one person can do everything at the same time. We do send some machinery to abroad, but what do we get in return? We will see now. So do you think these two are equals? No. 25 tracks of processed marble. You send it to abroad, and you can only afford a 2-1 tomography vehicle. Sorry, a device. And so, what I would suggest to our young friends is for them go out of ordinary, think out of the box. We used to drill the composite materials, but now it's old-fashioned. We should be interdisciplinary and think out of the box. So, how should the knowledge or information be? Well, it shouldn't be a word of mouth. I say so because get to know many friends from the industry. We have a booth here, and they come to us and say certain things. So it seems like they're like word of mouth, words of mouth. But let me quote a little story. When I was preparing for the university exam, at the Turkish class, the professor asked us to say a proverb, and I was sitting in the front desk. We have a proverb which reads that a giraffe who would be interested in elegance would wear white during the winter. And my friend said that it's not a giraffe, but it's something else. A word sounded similar to giraffe, and it would mean the elegance. And I came to figure out that it was not a giraffe, but it was elegance. I mean, that proverb meant whoever was interested into elegance would even wear white during the winter and would not care. We do have certain things in our minds. We think that we know them, but some of them are just words of mouth. Howard Gardner has intelligence theory, and he says that the more the senses are in use, the more successful you are. You may touch, you may hear, you may feel